the best thing is to be able to create something brand new that's never been seen before, that no one's ever, that's not been done by anybody. There was a big dam, a big man-made lake, and I didn't learn to swim till I was 14. And if you got down to the dam, you were one of the cool kids. So that's where the cool kids hung out. And I once, got invited down there, or I thought I was being invited down there. I went down there with these two guys, and when I got there was no one else there. It was just me and them, and they pushed me into the dam.
The magic circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because inside there, without giving too much away, there's all like.
What? Did you go ham, cheese, cracker, or did you go ham, cheese, cracker?
That's mental.
What?
Can't stack them that high.
That's not. This guy's walked on water. Do you think the Derren Lunchables mental?
I used to go cracker, ham, cheese, cracker.
Hello guys, how you doing? It's me, JaackMaate, and welcome back to another episode of the JaackMaate Podcast. I'm joined by this man once again. How you doing?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good. Another awkward intro. Let's do one. We need a handshake. We'll make it up later because we are joined by the man himself, the most sought-after magician in the world. It's Mr. Dynamo. How you doing, mate?
How you doing?
You alright?
Yeah, good. You guys can just call me Dynamo if you want. You don't
Dynamo,
have to put
not
the
Mr.
Dynamo.
Do you ever reveal
just for now.
your name?
When we leave the room, you have to call me Mr. Dynamo forever.
We'll call you other things when you leave the room. Do you ever reveal your name or not?
I think it's out there, my family and stuff still call me Stephen. But yeah,
he's ready.
But to be honest, a lot of people, a lot of my friends just call me D, either D or Steve, because they both sound quite similar. And it's Stephen for short, and D is Dynamo.
So you've just revealed it here.
There we go. Yeah.
Nah, it's on your Wikipedia, so it's all good. Dynamo, I am gonna do. I'm a bit of a. I like to see myself as a bit of a magician. In many ways, not on your scale by any means, but you didn't even know I was going to do this today, did you? No. Basically, in this envelope, I have predicted 3 things that I expect to happen in this interview.
Right.
And at the end, I'm gonna seal it now. I'm gonna give it to you at the end, and hopefully you can read it.
It's going to be more than like you expect someone to ask a question, and someone to answer a question.
Well, you've just kind of ruined the gag, but no, you haven't. Right, so I'm gonna leave that there. I don't know, I'll put these cards on here. Oh.
You got your own cards as well?
Yeah.
Look at that, you're going to do some magic for me?
I might do, if you're lucky. If you play your cards right. There we go, pun already. But yeah, at the end, if you can just open that and we'll see if we got it right. But anyway, it's not about me, it's not about my magic. It's about yours. And I want to start at the beginning. Well, not at the beginning, not birth, but like school. How was that for you? How was school life? Talk to me. This stare is very you stare deep into the soul, don't you?
Of course, sure, I'm interested,
Okay, right, school life, tell me. School
life. So, school, to be honest, early on was not the most pleasant of places for me. Right. I was a small kid and I got beat up quite a lot and
really?
I got a lot of trouble at school, and yeah, it was pretty horrible.
Did they beat you up because you were small, or?
I was an easy target. I look back and I think, well, you know what? If I was a big bully, I would have picked on me too.
Really?
But no, obviously I don't really condone bullying. But I mean, I was an easy target. I single parent family, grew up on a pretty poor council estate, and then went to this school where most people there had slightly better lives than me, and I was an easy target.
Right.
But it wasn't until a bit later in school life when my grandpa first introduced me to magic, which is that's what changed everything. From when I started to perform magic that I was learning from my grandpa at school, I started to have a new identity. People started to look at me in a different way.
So that was like an external factor to cover up the. So
it sounds cliche, but it's actually it's true. Like before that, I tried football. I was rubbish.
Yeah.
I tried everything: BMXing, skateboarding. Right. I was alright at skateboarding, to be fair. But yeah, magic.
Did you get into it quite late then? Like, what age were you?
I was 12 when I started really feeling confident to go and do it to people
in the street.
Yeah. Well, in the playground.
Right. Yeah. 12-year-old.
You didn't really want to walk the streets where I grew up and try and approach people.
Was it quite a rough area?
At the time, yeah. It's. I mean, I'm sure there's far rougher places, around the world. Well, I know there is. But for me, as a young kid, it wasn't the safest place. My mum wouldn't really let me play out in the streets.
Because that's quite not a weird thing, but quite an unusual thing for somebody who's quite. Would you say you were shy as a child?
Oh, very shy.
Yeah. To then go out, and I'm going away from school now, probably as you were leaving school, to then go out onto the streets of Bradford and stuff like that, and actually approach people. That must have been difficult for you, no?
It was early on, definitely, but then as I got older, when I left school and went to college, I went to a college that was 2 hours away from where my school was.
Oh, right.
So I knew nobody there would have known me.
Right.
So it was like a fresh start. So when I got there, on the first day when everyone's introducing themselves and it's like, hey, I'm John, I play football. I'm like, I'm Stephen, I do magic. And everyone was intrigued by it.
Because magic hasn't always been because you've gone to pubs in the past or weddings and you have that person there doing magic and you're like, obviously I don't know what the hell they've done it, but it's not always deemed as a cool thing. But the way you do it, you've made an identity around it which has that kind of coolness.
What, trendy?
Not trendy, but it's just it's kind of made magic, David Blaine made magic cool as well. But you've got that about you, where you have the cheesy magician sometimes, where it's a bit more
like rabbit from a hat sort of thing.
Yeah, because imagine if you're quite young and you're trying to find your identity, saying you're a magician, especially if you're already getting picked on a bit, might be quite a scary thing to say because it's not.
Because if you're shit at it and you say someone you're a magician, they're gonna mug you off even more, aren't they?
Yeah, and I know what you mean. I mean, for me, magic is something that I've always seen as being a cool thing.
Yeah.
You know,
but you make it cooler, Dynamo. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you. I hope you're right. But no, I always believed magic was cool.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're right. When you go to school and I'm getting picked on anyway, naturally you'd think I'd want to try and conform to be like everyone else so that I fit in.
Yeah.
But I didn't exactly do myself any favours, getting into magic. But then I realised, obviously, I had a bit of a natural flair for it, and that came out, and people could see that. And when I performed, it's when I felt really alive. So it definitely changed me, and it definitely changed people's perceptions of me. So when I went to college and started doing magic to everybody, I ended up dropping out of college because I was getting so many bookings to perform magic at at the uni after parties and the college conference, exhibitions, stuff like that. But magic took over my life, and I ended up not doing any of my coursework and just doing magic gigs every night, and
That's
dropped
mad.
out and made magic a career.
That's fairly similar to my story. I dropped out of college to do YouTube, but I'm not anywhere near as successful as you. I'm sat in a green room, but
It is a green room, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is.
literally a green room.
We're in the jungle right now.
Well, at college,
Get me out of here.
Were you quite a cool guy at college? Because obviously you're quite a shy, sort of timid kid at school, but by the time you get to college, you've already sort of learnt magic. So did you go in sort of swinging a wand about, kind of I don't know, that's kind of musical, isn't it?
I guess, you know what, I guess I kind of used the whole, I went from being shy to being shy, but knowing that I've got this skill that I know can take over a room,
Nice.
And the whole shy thing kind of, for some reason, people took it more as, he's not shy, he's mysterious.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You've definitely got the mysterious.
Yeah.
Silent but deadly.
Yeah. Did you stumble upon that sort of? How much of the Dynamo we see now is a character, or is this Stephen sitting before me? Because the way you sort of hold yourself now, most people might think that it's just a guy sitting there looking at me, but I'm kind of getting them sort of the way he doesn't. Do you know what I mean? How much of this is a character? Or is this who you are?
It's early in the day, man. I'm just really, I'm just saving my energy, So it's going to be a long day today. I've always believed that, that I had to be myself when I'm performing, and the best way to do that is just to be myself all the time, and embody myself as a character.
Yeah.
But I'm never really playing a character.
Right.
But I guess Dynamo is maybe the slightly more confident alter ego of Stephen. But it's everything that I do as Dynamo is things that are coming from inside here, from my heart. So it's the passion that comes through, and like I say, when I'm performing, I kind of let down those barriers and just get lost in the moment.
Have you always been cool under pressure? Because as being quite a shy person previously, magic I can imagine be so stressful in regards to if you don't get it right, it's so easy to look silly if you screw up the trick. Have you always been able to calm under pressure and just cool-headed?
I guess I got used to bottling things up when I was little, and because of that, I think it built up a sort of a tolerance for dealing with certain pressures. Because some of the stuff I had to deal with when I was growing up, even at home, I had a lot of difficulties at home with my family. So dealing with those things privately on my own has allowed me to kind of face any challenge, really. Like obviously, some things are going to make me sweat more than others. I'm human at the end of the day, or am I? I tried to keep a calm head about me. I tried not to take life too seriously, because at the end of the day, we're never going to survive it.
Very true. You say about you had a rough upbringing and stuff, but then you also say that your granddad taught you your first trick. What was he? Was he a magician, or did he just sort of dabble in stuff like that? Did he teach you
He dabbled in
anything?
it. He knew a few cool things to do down at the bar, to impress his friends. He was a soldier he was in World War II, and he, as far as I'm aware, he used to use the magic that he learned when they were in the barracks to kind of entertain the troops and kind of keep the morale high.
Yeah.
And then he was that sort of person. He would always make you feel happy no matter how bad your day's been.
Right.
He could walk into a room and it'd light up.
Yeah. Did he raise you then, sort of thing?
Kind of raised me. My father was in jail, and my mum was really young, so she was going to college and university, trying to obviously better herself so that she could better our lives in the future. Right. My grandma and my grandpa raised me, but they're actually my great grandparents. I don't mean they were like really great. they were the greatest, but they're actually my great grandparents, because my grandparents actually lived in America. They moved to America when I was very young.
Oh wow. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So with your dad being in prison, if you don't mind me touching on that, would that have been a route that you think you maybe would have gone if you had, or were you too?
Yeah, I've heard good things about prison. I definitely wanted to go
no,
there.
I don't mean like you saw it on TripAdvisor and went, oh, that's got good reviews. Like, do you think if you hadn't have found magic, was magic sort of your escape from that lifestyle? Do you know what I mean? Would you have ended up there, or was you far too timid
I think
for that?
it was. I think it. I've always timid. I was the people that I kind of did surround myself in Delphi Estate where I grew up. I kind of latched on to, I guess, the tougher guys, because I figured it's quite a good idea to be friends with those guys, because if I get in any trouble, then they will back me up a little bit. But then them guys were kind of taking the route that my father took, and they were naughty boys, and they protected me a little bit. But so I reckon if I hadn't have found magic, but I could have quite easily followed the path of some of the other people.
Yeah, and gone down that road. What would you have done if you hadn't found magic? Did you have have you had jobs before magic, or has it always been magic? Because I can't imagine you hoovering hotels or do anything like that. I'm just trying to think of a normal job. What's a normal?
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, selling ice creams, like
Little chef.
Little Chef. Don't mention brands, but if you want to sponsor us, we could really do with the money. So Little Chef, maybe. What would you have done? What if you had to pick you up out of the magic world and drop you into the mundanity of life? What would you do?
The mundanity of life. I mean, what I would like to do, what I would have wanted to do, but I probably wouldn't have been able to do it because you need to be 18 to drive.
Right.
I would have been a stunt car driver. That would have been amazing.
That's not the mundanity of life.
But that's
though.
not mundane, is it?
No.
So that's thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
But if mundane, to be honest, I probably would still be working at the video store, Wyke Video Centre, where I had an after-school job.
Oh wow.
Although, to be honest, technically, you guys would be put my video store out of business,
Yeah,
first it was VHSs, then Blu-rays, then YouTube, and then streaming. You know what I mean? So
now we're here. We're peaking.
Maybe I would have actually taken the fact that all these new genres of of watching films and videos had come out and actually created the first. I could have created Netflix before it was even Netflix.
I mean, we won't get too carried away. You might have been a YouTuber. I reckon you got YouTuber written on
Well,
it.
I actually did. That's kind of how I started getting my videos out there from my magic in the first place.
Oh, is it? Go on then, tell us
I
more
was a
about
YouTuber
that.
before YouTuber was a thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Paved the way. Maverick. Why? How'd that happen?
Was
you on Bebo? Did you ever get on Bebo?
I did have a Bebo,
Yeah, cool. Was you in many people's top 16?
I had all of them. I had the MySpaces, everything. Me and Tom were we were friends.
You always mention some shitty one.
Face party.
You ever had a face party?
No.
Don't Google it now.
No, apparently it's a sex thing now, but it wasn't a sex thing.
Are you sure?
It wasn't a sex
How do you
thing.
know? You might have just thought, all these people here are really nice.
Really friendly. Yeah.
He's obviously been on Face Party for the whole transition period.
Yeah, you created Face Party, didn't you? That's why you're trying to sell it.
That's my baby.
How was Bebo? No, that's not a question, don't answer that. Which have been many people's top 16s before the magic. Now, you say about YouTube. I saw online somewhere that you got a loan from somebody or something to get a camera.
Yeah.
And tell me about that. What was it? Was it Prince's Trust, I want to
Yeah,
say?
the Prince's Trust. So when I kind of had this idea originally, when I went to college and dropped out, and I went to America to stay with my grandparents that lived over there.
Right.
Because they were doing, this sounds really weird, but they were doing a dog show tour, right? Which they have 19 award-winning golden retrievers. They breed these dogs, right? And
Right, that does sound a bit weird.
it is something, right? And they were going on this tour in this big camper van with all these. We're talking like a long, massive, like tour bus type thing with all these dogs going to all the pedigree chum type events around the country. They went to like Vegas, New Orleans, and I got to go with them. And the reason I went is because I knew the place they were going to is where all the magicians that I was fans of were performing. You know, like Las Vegas, you've got Copperfield. You know, you go to New Orleans was where the street performing kind of really street magicians were kind of famous down there.
Right.
So I went to all these different places, and in the daytime, I would kind of help my grandparents groom the dogs and get them ready for the dog shows. And then in the evenings, I would either hang out with, go meet the local magicians or perform at dog show after parties. That's right, yeah. Glamour.
When I said that you come across quite cool and trendy, I sort of
diminished all that. Yeah.
But that takes so much bottle in regards to going there, and obviously you're so passionate about it, you did the research of who was there. But like, it's really putting yourself out there, and also just like, I'm going to go to America and I'm going to do this. I'm going to meet.
It's quite a gamble, isn't it?
It is a gamble, but it takes a lot.
Well, the reason I did that is obviously to get the experience and to try and understand how I could make a career from magic, because back home there wasn't really, especially in Bradford, there wasn't any examples.
No.
I didn't live in London at that point. I didn't really know any other magicians really in the local area, so I kind of needed to seek out advice and then work out a way that I can turn it into a job and make some money from it. Because my grandma, she just wanted me to get a proper job.
Right.
Yeah. And no one really believed in it. They thought what I was doing was cool and was amazing, but they couldn't comprehend how I could turn it into something bigger. Yeah. So whilst I was there, I met with all these magicians. They gave me loads of advice, and I realised when I was in Vegas that Vegas is where there was you had about 60 magicians working in Vegas. There was a market for it there. So I thought, all right, how do I get to Vegas? How do I come back and work here? What's the easiest way to get a work permit? So when I came back home, I just, at this point, I think I just turned 18.
Right.
So I got a job, I got an apprenticeship at the local casino, at Gala Casino, because I knew that the easiest way to get into Vegas is getting a gaming license.
Right.
So I got this apprenticeship, got my gaming license, I was all set to go to Vegas, but then I realised later, I kind of realised on this journey, because it took me 18 months to get the gaming license. So on that journey, I kind of put together my own kind of plan of how I thought I could actually make it in the UK, because as much as where I grew up was a difficult time, it was also home. I loved it. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't see myself living anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I put all this plan together, this business plan, and I was all set to do it. And I was trying to get money from banks. They were looking at this 18-year-old kid thinking, no, we don't. You're from Delford Estate. Oh yeah, no, next.
Right.
They didn't really give me the time of day. And I was at MAPA, the local youth club, and I was talking to Emil about this idea. Emil was the guy who ran the youth club, and he introduced me to a guy called Tony, and it turns out Tony knew this guy, Prince Charles, and that's how I kind of got connected with the Prince's Trust. So then Tony came on as like a mentor and helped me make this kind of scrap business plan idea and turn it into something real. And then I had to walk into a room. It was a bit like a cross between Dragon's Den and like Britain's Got Talent, and basically perform and give a pitch to these guys. And
wow, you must have been so nervous.
I was so nervous. I don't remember exactly what I did, but I remember coming out of the room and Tony came out after and he says, "Oh, they don't normally tell you this straight away, but you've got the loan. We're going to support you. They don't quite understand your business, but they loved your enthusiasm, and they're amazed by the magic. So
wow.
and my idea, because if you think back then, my idea was to make YouTube videos, was to film my magic and put it on YouTube and hopefully garner loads of views in order to get enough attention to get a TV show.
Yeah.
But if you think for some old guys in suits in a room who've never really, probably don't even know what YouTube was at that point, because it was right at the early stages when YouTube first came out, it seemed like a really kind of, far-fetched idea.
Yeah, because I mean, like, even now where we're at in terms of YouTube, some people still don't get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's quite savvy. Did you what you did? Did you ever get to Vegas? I know you've been, but did you ever go and do any work there?
Well, I've done quite a few performances, but I've kind of done them as Dynamo. Back then I was still Stephen. I was Stephen the Magician.
Yeah. How'd the name come about?
I was performing in New York. It was a conference for magicians, and it's like all the top magicians in the world were there, honouring Houdini's life, and they brought out some commemorative kind of merchandise about Houdini that had never been seen before, and it was like this big exhibition. And halfway through performing, one guy stands up and he goes, "This kid's a effing dynamo." And for the rest of the week, all these top magicians, my kind of peers, would refer to me as the Dynamo kid.
You didn't want to go with fucking Dynamo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Effing Dynamo. That's got quite a ring to it, I think. Yeah. Well, so
only when I'm angry.
Or when your mum's angry. Effing Dynamo, put your shoes away.
No, it's just Stephen.
Oh, okay. It's one of them, innit? Yeah, it's one of them. It's the opposite for me. When I'm told off my dad, JaackMaate. No, he hasn't. Did you see a rise in? So obviously you're massively talented and stuff, but did you see a rise after the name change? Does something little like that make a big difference or not? Because I'm sure if I was just called Jack Dean on YouTube, people wouldn't be searching. Well, I guess, I don't know. Does it make much of a difference?
Jack Dean's not a bad name. It's got some kind of flow to it, some kind of ring to it.
It's two first names though, isn't it?
Yeah, all three of my names are first names. Jack Carl Dean.
Tell you what,
true.
I'll go online, I'll register as Jack Dean and then I'll do your deal on it.
Okay, right. Copyright it, yeah. Did you see a rise after you changed your name?
Quickly, get JackDean.com.
Somebody probably already has it. Someone rang my granddad's office the other day because my granddad bought me the domain name, JaackMaate. Yeah, so it's pretty similar to you. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and he bought me the domain name, JaackMaate, and registered his office as the office, and somebody called it up and was like, "Can I buy this off you?" And he was like, "How much?" Cheers, Grandad. 30 quid. And he done it. No, he didn't. My granddad was awful. Opposite of yours. What do your family think of it now?
I think they're very proud. I've lived in London for quite a few years now, so I don't get to see them as often. But, whenever I'm doing the shows and stuff and they come in and they get to see the people's reaction to everything.
Yeah.
I think it overwhelms them a little bit. I know my little brother Troy, and Troy, who's the youngest. I have to shout all of them out. Shout out to Jessica. Shout out to Lee. I'm not just mentioning Troy. Troy's the youngest, and I know, but because he's the youngest, he's kind of. I became well known whilst he was still at school.
Right.
So that boosted his street cred massively. Do you know what I mean? Like he definitely abused that. Well, my brother Troy is a genius. Like he's doing a master's degree and stuff now.
Oh really?
In fact, no. Talk about smart. They've fast tracked him. He's skipping the masters and going straight to a PhD.
Jeez.
Yeah.
In what?
He's doing it. Well, he was doing animal psychology before. But now he's doing business studies and he's got some other crazy thing. But I can't just say the name to it. It's that fancy. Like, but,
it's quite a skip as well, isn't it? Like to go. What was it? Animal psychology.
Because there was a running theme in our family.
Yeah.
As we grew up, we often would get to go out to stay with our grandma in America.
Yeah.
Because my grandma in America, just to explain the juxtaposition, my family obviously in Bradford were very poor, but my grandma in America, her husband worked for a very big chemical works company, and they moved out to America with that company many years, like when I was like 6 or 7.
Right. So
they've always been out there and been quite wealthy, so they would often every other year they would fly either me, my brother, or my sister, or my other brother out to stay with them, for the summer holidays.
Wow.
So Troy would go out to stay with some holidays, and he absolutely loved the dogs more than anybody, and so he came back wanting to be an animal psychologist.
That's cool.
So he's like he's like a dog whisperer.
That's crazy. So your grandparents and your great grandparents had such a big influence on you and your brother's lives.
Oh, massively. Yeah.
That's well good. That's well good. A weird question that I wanted to come to was about dreams. Not dreams and aspirations.
No.
Dreams like nighttime in your bed dreams, right? Because when I dream of like probably the same as anyone in this room. Like dream of mental things, like I'm flying and shit like that. But you can do that kind of shit. So like, what does Dynamo dream of? Do you dream of like really mundane stuff, like doing a big shop, or like, do you know what I mean? Trying out some soaps or something like. What do you dream?
Hoover in a hotel.
Yeah, yeah. Or do you dream of like doing something mental? I don't know, like taking your arm off, and then you wake up the next day and go, "That's my new trick."
I'll be honest. Most of the dreams I have, I probably forget, but I do often wake up in the middle of the night. And I've got my iPad next to my bed, and I'm always like, okay, that's weird. Like, I don't know why I'm suddenly thinking that jumping out of a aeroplane and doing this crazy thing would be a good idea. But I'm going to write it down. And I write down these crazy ideas, which probably I do subliminally get from my dreams.
That's
and
mad.
then sometimes I'll go through them again when I'm in Dynamo HQ, jamming on some new magic ideas, and I'm like, actually, that dream I had, that would be perfect if we could do that, and that, and then boom.
That is mad.
That's
to have
how
a
the magic
job.
happens. I mean, it's ironic to say, but definitely when I'm in my bed, that's where the magic happens.
He's well chuffed for that line, isn't it? I like that. It's mad to have a job in which you can take your dreams and go, yeah, I'm going to do that.
I think there's something in there, 'cause I think Freddie Mercury used to have a piano on his bedside thing, so he'd have dreams about music, and he'd turn around and he'd play it and then write it.
That sounds made up, though.
That's what I think he said it.
Can you imagine if, like...
But it's like
But he could have made it up.
He could have made it up, but I'd like to think he did.
Yeah, I want to keep that. We've got to keep that as a truth. We've got to spread that out more to more people.
Yeah, that's a fact,
Yeah.
Because I think dreams are obviously anything's possible.
If
right?
what we need to do, we need to go on his Wikipedia page and just stick
And
that bit in, so it's a fact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know that anything you read on Wikipedia is 100% fact.
Yeah, it's true.
Imagine if your dreams came to fruition.
I,
You had a dream that
I was
the thing about your dick. His dick was a pen, right? He had a dream. He told this on a podcast before.
No,
so.
I didn't dream that it was a pen.
Go tell us more. No, we're interested. We're intrigued.
I dreamt I was in Hogwarts.
You are.
And I was
The door's there, mate, if you want to just slip out.
so with a couple guys. I don't know who the guys were.
Yeah.
But we were in trouble, and the punishment was that a pen was put in our penises, a peni, and then we had to write a sorry letter with our penis.
Is this where you got the idea for face party?
So I mean, I didn't wake up.
Do you want a pen?
Yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night. I was
I
like,
wouldn't touch it if I were you.
I woke up. I was like, I'll try that out. I did it. I was like,
And then
yeah.
Nozzle was born.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, one thing that intrigues me, right, when I knew you were coming on today, the first thing I wrote down on this little notepad of mine was the magic circle.
Yeah.
Okay, before I did a little bit of research on it last night, I was certain that was like a mythical thing that didn't actually exist.
It's a real thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it like a physical thing? Like, is there? You said about Dynamo HQ. Is there a magic circle HQ?
Oh yeah, there is, and you could win a chance to come and hang out at the Magic Circle with me. In fact, anyone watching this, you could win a chance to.
Tell us more.
If you go onto the website, we'll put it below.
Yeah.
Here.
I'm
And
just going to make sure
Magic.
it's up there.
yeah. So if you go on to Dynamo.com,
Yeah.
then on there's all the information to win a chance to come hang out with me at the Magic Circle and get a behind the scenes look at
Wow.
where the magic really does happen.
Really? Can you tell us a bit about it then, or not?
Where is it?
Yeah. Can you imagine if it's like Bradford? Bradford.
No.
Car park.
The headquarters is in London. It's in Euston.
Oh.
It's in Euston.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What? I thought it was going to be somewhere like. Good. I know London's good, but I mean, like, I thought it was going to be Vegas or LA
Is
or
it?
somewhere
Did
like
you-
show.
No, because the Magic Circle is a British. It's an English.
Oh, is it?
English.
Wow. What is it? Like a little? It's like a little office space.
No, it's actually an amazing building. It's when you go inside, it's like stepping into like a different world. It's it's pretty cool.
How many times have you been there?
I would say easily 100 times.
Wow.
I'm like an inner circle member. Yeah.
Can you just pop in when you want, like on an off chance?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I'm baffled.
Yeah, I've got so many questions.
People's like jobs, like your full-time job could be working at the
Yeah. There's people, there's some people who work there constantly to make sure that it, to preserve the magic, and because inside there, without giving too much away, there's all like loads of like history of magic. There's actually the shoes that I wore when I walked across the River Thames on display in there. They've got like original like Houdini handcuffs and stuff like that from back in the day. So it's a museum as well as it is a secret society.
But it's just for magicians, is that right?
Just for magicians, unless you happen to win the competition and want to come out and check it out.
It's crazy.
They do the occasional open days where they do they do magic shows and people can come and watch.
Right.
But yeah, it's
are you a bit on edge talking about it? Like, will they come and take your license away if you give too much information? Is that a bit like Area 51? Or
come on, man, I'm Dynamo.
Yeah, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
You can do what you want. I've got so many questions about this. Do you know what I mean? I'm all giddy. Like, I went to Area 51 once. I was outside the gate. I just really wanted to, like, do you know what I mean? When you're so close to the information, you are the information. Is it like the Big Brother house? Is there a...
No.
No?
No.
I'm just... Right, this is what I'm imagining, okay? Right, you can tell me if I'm right. I'm imagining, like, a massive igloo type thing. There's totally black in there, but there's lights on the wall that just sort of, like, light up your little bit. You know when you sit at a campfire, you can only see within the perimeters of the campfire? This is what I'm imagining... Because and everyone's in black hoods and they're all going like,
When's that happening, Big Brother?
Wow, you stick around for the new season. I literally know nothing. But
we can like
a coven.
You can it's like think of electricity. It's everywhere now, and you can have real lights and you can really light a place up.
I think that if I went there though, honestly, like if I went there and there was a big light and it was lit like this, I'd be a bit disappointed. Is it well lit?
What do you want?
I want it to be dark and like.
I think it's a cool old building.
If you ever get to go, I'll make sure we turn the lights out.
Okay. Well, so you just gave away you revealed it. There's lights on, so it's not as magical to me anymore. It's not as magical. Are there membership cards?
Yeah, there are.
Have you got one?
I do. I don't have it on me, but I do have one.
I'd love to see that.
So you can't apply to be. You're invited into the magic circle.
You have to be invited by existing members, and then even when you're invited, you have to audition.
Oh.
So you might not get in.
Who invited you? Or were you, you're there, so...
He invites himself.
Yeah, practically. I got, I got made like an honorary member.
Mm. But it might be different now, but you're a silver member, aren't you? You're a silver member?
No, I think I've been stepped up to the highest level. I'm inner circle.
Platinum.
I was going to say, I read on your Wikipedia, that's all this research is for the show Wikipedia, that you were silver. And I was like, what does someone have to do to get gold? Come on, harsh critics. Who were your inspirations as a magician growing up?
When I first got into it, like I say, it was my grandpa, because I didn't know any other magicians at that point. There weren't magicians on TV at that time for me to. I kind of missed the whole Paul Daniels era and the Copperfield era. It wasn't until I was a bit older and actually into magic, but I started to go back and study their stuff and actually watch their old footage, but on YouTube.
Right.
So I guess I was inspired by people like Michael Jackson. And performers, like his performances were magical. Right. He actually incorporated lots of magic into his shows. The moonwalk looks magical, right? Yeah. And then he leaned really far forward. Yeah.
Yeah, you do that, don't you?
I've done it a few times. Yeah. He was like the most magical person for me to watch, like growing up.
Yeah.
And then I also, was into like Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy, like his comedy. It's like being able to kind of walk on stage and create a magical feeling through just spoken word, through comedy. That was magical in itself.
I've never guessed.
I don't necessarily. I don't look at magic as a physical thing. Right. It's magic for me is like an emotion that you bring out and you create in an atmosphere of a room, or when one person witnesses something they just can't explain. That it's just inexplicably amazing to them, and that can be anything from someone giving birth to their first child and the father holding it for the first time, or it can be a footballer scoring a goal, right at the end of the match, when just before 90 minutes, So that, magic for me is creating something that didn't exist, something that we just thought up in a dream and making it a reality. And that can be in many different forms. So for me, growing up, watching all these, just watching performers, watching movies, Back to the Future, my favourite film of all time. It's a magical film, and they were the things that would inspire me.
That's mad. That's quite a nice way to put it, about the emotion and stuff. Have you ever seen magic live before? On a big scale?
No, I've only seen, as I said before, wedding and pub.
Yeah.
Pub magician. They were very good.
Even,
I had no idea.
That's the thing. Like, obviously, you're next level when it comes to it. You're the number one fucking magician in the world. But even when you see like these like newbies who are getting into it and stuff, that stuff still fascinates me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just because I can't comprehend how I used to do it. I did a trick to my granddad once. And basically, it's a good one.
His bank account is empty.
Yeah.
Debt.
Yeah. I convinced him to buy my domain name, although it's never going to be worth anything. But I got 2 decks of cards. I got a magic set for Christmas, and one of the cards was just all the same one, 6 of spades or something. And I'd always go to my nan's twice on Christmas, in the morning and in the night. And in the morning, I went, why, is that weird? Don't worry about it. and I got one of these like 6 of diamonds, and he was like cutting the turkey and stuff, and I slipped it into his back pocket.
Nice.
Prep early, and then I would come back round later, and I knew I had to do it early on. But as soon as I walked in the door, I was like, "Grandad, sit down now." He sat down, got him to pick a card. He looked at it, put it back, swapped the deck. So now, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So it was always going to be that. And then I went, "Can you find your card now?" And he was like, "Oh, where's that gone? Where's that gone?" I went, "Stand up, check your back pocket." He stood up. That was in there. There we go. So if you need someone to open for your shows, Dynamo, I think I might be your man.
I was going to call you Grandad.
Call my granddad. Did your granddad have a name?
Grandpa.
Obviously he had a name, but did he have like? He
didn't have a magic name.
Oh,
no,
Grandpa.
It was Ken Walsh, but I just called him Gramps.
Nice. That's the tattoo.
Yeah, it says Grandpa on my neck there.
That's cool.
Well, when he passed away, I kind of got the angel wing as well, going
quality.
all the way down here.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So he's always kind of watching over my shoulder when I'm performing.
That's well good.
I wanted to ask, and this might sound odd, but some of your tricks, and like I've seen the one where you get the fish and you're emptying the fish out, and then in front of Christ the Redeemer you're floating. I wondered, are you religious by any chance, or?
I'm not. I don't really follow any religion particularly. I've never really. I wouldn't necessarily even say that I'm an atheist or anything like that. I just don't really. It's not something I've ever really been. I wasn't really raised in a family where religion was was kind of pushed upon us or taught about it.
I bet people have thought that either you're Christ or the devil. No, I didn't know how to say that, but I mean, like, obviously you're pushing fish. Maybe people like how, because obviously you're doing these things which Jesus did.
What's this fish thing?
There's a bucket.
Yeah.
Not full of fish, with a little fish, and it's just constantly emptying fish out of it.
I'm sure if the devil was amongst us, he wouldn't be going, look at all these fish.
Jesus broke the bread, and he like separated this fish to a massive
right, okay. A lot of that has kind of religious
and
sort of...
walking on water and whatnot. So all these, like, there's links to things that Jesus did.
I never really kind of, I can obviously, see the links there, and, but for me, most of the magic I do, it was all kind of brought out about certain circumstances that I found myself in.
Sure.
Like when it came to, when I did the walking across the River Thames, that stemmed from when I was younger. I lived on Delft Estate, and between Delft Hill and Woodside Estates, there was a big dam, a big man-made lake, and I didn't learn to swim till I was 14. And if you got down to the dam, you were one of the cool kids. So, that's where the cool kids hung out. And I once, got invited down there, or I thought I was being invited down there. I went down there with these 2 guys. And when I got there, there was no one else there. It was just me and them, and they pushed me into the dam. And knowing that I couldn't swim, so I thought I was going to drown. And there and then, I wished I could have walked on water.
Wow.
And it became kind of, an ambition of mine to walk on water, and that kind of manifested itself in 2011 when I walked across the River Thames.
Yeah.
So they've never really been overly thought out to be,
sure.
Like that. It's just ideas and ambitions that I've had growing up.
It's weird because a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but a lot of successful people, they they say that they were bullied at school and stuff like this, and well, they were bullied at school, and they say that their art and their trade sort of helped them overcome that, which is very similar to your story. But you've kind of like, you've gone a step further. You've actually fueled, like the bullies have actually helped create your success. Do you know what I mean? Like by pushing you in that thing. Have you ever met any of them like recently, like since the success, and just gone like shown them a tenner and gone,
fuck you.
a floating tenner.
I met a couple of them. The two guys who pushed me into the dam. They were the guys who kind of gave me the most trouble. One of them, I believe, is no longer with us.
Right.
So rest in peace.
Yeah.
And his brother. The last time I saw him, he was working on a nightclub door. He's like a bouncer now. You know, I don't really have any ill feelings towards them. You know, people are young and stupid. You know.
But it's fucking nice,
but,
isn't it? Just
I mean,
to like, you just go past in a sports car.
They do. You know, the best form of revenge is success.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be as successul as I can be.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Best way.
Do you believe in horoscopes or? I'm intrigued. Or
you know what? I don't particularly believe in them per se.
Yeah.
But I did. You know, I have on the time back when I used to get my trains up and down the country from Bradford to London. I did find I'd end up reading them at the back of the magazines or the newspapers. The Mystic Meg ones. Yeah. Like but I think that when I read them now, when I look at them, I'm like, that could apply to anybody.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because with somebody like Derren Brown, for example,
amazing guy.
Yeah. What's your opinion on it? And I'm not expecting you to like just call him out or anything, but like because he's very, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's very sort of frivolous in saying that magic's not real and that he's an illusionist and like there's like simple ways to do everything. So does that kind of affect your trade? Like, do magicians go to like the magic circle and they're like, Derren's been at it again. Do you know? like
not
shouting his big fucking mouth.
Not really. I mean, I think the thing is, I've known Derren for years, and the magicians that actually matter, and that we take inspiration from, and we take their criticism to heart. They know what Derren's all about, and we know that what he's doing is actually amazing for the art form. He's taken his skill set. And because he also does a bit of magic himself, that's kind of where he started off, and he's taken that and taken it in a whole different direction, which is Derren Brown's his whole thing. There is no other one. There's no one in the world like Derren, and for that, I just think it's amazing what he's done.
Does it not offend you at all?
Not in the slightest. No, I'm always intrigued on what he's going to do next because he's phenomenal.
Because what is the difference between a magician and an illusionist?
It's just a different word, isn't it?
Different word.
It's just I think the word illusionist was what the stage performers used to use, because they would go on stage and they would do what we'd call box illusions, where you put your assistant into a box and then you spin it around and then they've disappeared or they've transposed. So they were like illusionists on stage. Because as a close up, I started performing magic close up, and on the street and in your face. So I would never go up and introduce myself as an illusionist. I'm a magician. So I think it was just kind of it was a way early on of separating the close-up guys from the stage guys.
Right. Okay. Did you ever see that show, The Masked Magician?
Oh yeah.
Did that piss you off growing up? Because I can imagine you'd be watching it going, what is he doing? What's he stop?
I'll be honest, I don't think it did not wind me up in the slightest.
Right.
I was fascinated by that show.
Yeah.
And I think that majority of people who watched it would have actually had to be, in order to sit through that whole show, you have to be slightly interested in magic a little bit. Whether you want to learn the secrets or learn, or just want to watch it for the entertainment value. Like, for me, it was amazing because I actually, knowing more about magic than the average person, I knew that a lot of the stuff that they gave away in that show was specifically created for the show. It wasn't the real methods that magicians would use.
Okay.
So for me, I found it quite fascinating, and I think that if anything, it got people talking about magic. It's not really affected. It's made certain magicians have to step up their game to say, all right, there's shows like this that exist, so we've got to make sure that we're creating the coolest, most amazing magic ever that you can't find the answers for.
Right. Did he get kicked out of the magic circle?
I don't think he was ever in the magic circle to begin
Oh,
with.
maybe that's why he did it, because he felt like he'd been sort of parred off a little bit.
I remember when I remember they did this big reveal of of who it was,
and no one knew.
And he took off his mask. It is me, Valentino. And we're like, what?
Oh, it's that guy. That guy from The Masked Magician.
You're a fashion designer?
Put the mask back on. But, I was going to ask, because I heard a thing about a lot of things with tricks are that there's a set number of tricks, but it's the way you do them. You make your own twist on things. You do your own little way of doing it. So I guess with the Masked Magician, he did those set ones, but you could do those tricks in a number of ways. You
said quite a nice analogy that was like
it's like if there's a song and another band cover it, they can make it their own. Is that true? Or is it like when you're coming to tricks, you're making up your tricks and whatnot? Or is it a case of it's just like tweaking and doing your own spin on things?
So is there a set number of tricks out there, and are you making new ones up all the time, or are you just getting existing ones and going, I'm going to put a Dynamo spin on this?
Me personally, I think it's a mixture. You know, obviously, if I'm a fan of a classic piece of magic, then I might try and almost pay homage to it, but give it my own spin. You know, and make it my own. But then, for me, the best thing is to be able to create something brand new that's never been seen before, that no one's ever, that's not been done by anybody. Fresh. So then, then it's fresh, and then, it's almost like it can become quite an honour then in the future if someone would pay homage to that. If that becomes a modern classic, then, for me as a magician, that's quite an achievement. But I think, there is, in a similar way to, as you're talking about, like a musician playing music, there's certain chords that you can learn, which you can use in many different ways to create different sounds. But then, obviously, as music evolved, you had things come out like, which, like, you had computers which would allow you to make the sound even different, which made it, took it away from being what you can do on the instrument itself, and you could create stuff that was never done by anybody. It didn't even matter about the chords. So there's foundations in magic, which is actually why I've what I've kind of talked about a lot in my new book, The Book of Secrets, which basically it gives people, there's like over 30 tricks in the book for people to learn. But then if you actually read there's like loads of paragraphs and kind of separate pages about the theory behind magic, about the the nuances that really make it magic, because anybody can do a trick, but not anybody can actually turn a trick into magic. Right. Okay. So when I'm performing, I don't see myself as performing tricks. I perform pieces of magic, because there's so much fine detail gone into these things that it's the result should be something really powerful that someone would witness, see, and never ever forget for the rest of their lives. So with the book, I've really tried to try to pass down these nuances so that beginners in magic of today learn how to really become a good magician.
So do you need in order to get this book and to learn the tricks in it, do you already need a slight grasp on magic?
No, there's stuff in the book that anyone could just flick through and learn a few simple things if you want, just to entertain your friends down at the bar, or in the school playground. But then if you invest time into book and genuinely study it, there's it's like a full complete course of magic, and you could actually, if you invest enough time, you could not only maybe do like gigs, perform gigs with the magic, but you could maybe learn the skills to combine different elements of tricks from one trick from the end of the book with one trick from the beginning of the book, and combine it to create a brand new piece of magic that is your own.
Wow. So are they, so those tricks you're teaching people within the book, are they Dynamo's tricks, or are they, like, as I said before, like a mixture?
I've made sure that they are Dynamo style magic. It's not none of the magic you've seen in any of the old type of magic books or magic kits. It's some of the stuff is stuff I actually do in my performances. Some of it is brand new stuff that's been created specifically for the book by myself and some of my magician friends who've kind of helped me out. There's been things that've been contributed from like top members of the Magic Circle and the American Society of Magicians, people that I look up to and I've been a fan of when I was growing up in magic. They've contributed kindly, and thanks to them, some amazing pieces of magic that people can learn which haven't been put in print anywhere else.
Are they all card tricks, or are they? Like
No,
other things?
there's I'd say there's a half and half. It's like 50% card magic and 50% magic using everyday objects.
Wow. So there's no like magic bottle that you need to buy. It's literally
No,
just
you
like,
actually there's some magic that uses a bottle in the book, and you get special labels with the book, which allow you to do stuff. You just put the labels on any bottle, and you know everything you need, other than a pack of cards, everything you need comes with the book, ready to pop out and use.
That's crazy.
And you know it's almost there's a little bit of Blue Peter style stuff in there where it shows you how to make stuff at home for yourself, and it's. What's great about it as well is that it's one thing that will, if you really invest time into it, then it's going to take you away from just constantly looking at mobile phone screens. And you know, it's going to, you know, I think for parents, you know, to work on these ideas with their children, you know, it's quite good investing in it because you know you go to a restaurant now and you see you know some teenagers hanging out and they're with their friends, but they're all sat on their phones.
Yeah.
You know, whereas magic. Right, if you think about it, magic is, in order to do magic, you have to put down the phone and go up and actually interact with someone. And in the book, we also talk about ways of building your confidence up so that you feel confident to approach a group of people and say, do you want to see some magic? You know, and ways of dealing with nerves, dealing with hecklers. You know, so these are skills that are not just useful in magic, but useful in society in a way. You know,
because you could literally read the book if you gave it enough time, you could then you could technically make a living from it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is amazing.
So if you want to, is it on pre-order now?
It's on pre-order now,
If you want to pre-order now, head to Amazon. Would that be the best
It's on
place?
Amazon, WH Smith's, Watsons. I don't want to obviously favour any one particular company. You know, it's available at all good bookstores. Pre-order it now. Dynamo, the Book of Secrets, and I'm going to be doing a tour up and down the country, going to Glasgow, going to Leeds, to Bath. To all over the place.
Wow.
So come and meet me as well. So pre-order the book and you can get a ticket to come and meet me.
I will put all the links down below so you can check that out. Dynamo, the Book of Secrets. I do quickly want to touch on your magic, believe it or not, your big tricks. Like what you've walked across the Thames, you've levitated, you've done pretty much everything you can imagine. This guy's been there, done that. What's been your proudest moment to date? Is it a trick coming off well, or is it meeting somebody, or is it getting a TV show? What's your standalone piece? Just dropping the water there.
Probably my proudest moment as a performer to date has been doing my Seeing is Believing tour, where I was doing magic. I did 111 shows in the UK alone, and I did 3 nights at the O2 Arena.
Wow!
Like for me, I never ever imagined as a young magician, particularly someone who was as shy as I was, that I would ever walk out on stage anywhere, let alone the biggest venue, the most prestigious venue in this country, and do magic for 12,000 people at the same time. Like that was crazy. Like I was nervous, genuinely nervous, going out there, but it was for me the most amazing experience of my life, and probably the thing I'm most proud of, because to overcome fears of walking on stage and to bring magic to a venue where people are used to going to see music artists like Drake, the Rolling Stones, Lady Gaga, Eminem, and they're coming out in the thousands to watch magic. That for me is super important, because magic, when I first got into it, wasn't it wasn't necessarily seen as the coolest thing. It was almost like a dying art, So to actually bring it back to the consciousness of people's minds, and bring it back to popular culture, that's really important, and that's partly why I kind of wanted to create this book, so that young people can get into magic and it can become as popular.
I think it's you giving something back as well, isn't it? Because people want to know it.
In 100 years from now, when I'm not here, I want magic to still be alive and
you
and
might
going
be
strong.
Dynamo. Who knows?
Yeah, possibly.
What's the next level, I should say?
I've got a lot of new ideas I'm working on. I've had a lot of crazy dreams recently, so I've been writing those ideas down. But right now, I'm just kind of work out where I want to direct the attention, because the thing is, the TV, TV has kind of changed a lot since I was actually on TV. It's been since 2014 was when I did my last TV show.
Oh wow,
and
really?
The kind of whole landscape's changed. You've got your Amazon Prime, you've got your Netflix, you've got YouTube and YouTube Red, and you've got all these different kind of potential avenues for me to put my shows on. So I'm just kind of working on some crazy ideas, and once I've got the ideas locked down in my head, then maybe you guys might get to see some of those things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Would you say your biggest trick to date is the walking on the River Thames?
Probably the most famous piece
Right.
of magic.
Yeah.
But for me, I always preferred the close-up magic, because like when I'm walking across the River Thames, or when I'm levitating at Christ the Redeemer, I'm kind of there in a space on my own. I'm kind of slightly detached from my audience.
But Christ the Redeemer, you're surrounded by people.
Yeah,
So
but I mean,
like,
but when I'm up there, I'm kind of, it sounds, without sounding arrogant, I'm up there looking down on the audience.
Yeah,
I can't necessarily, like when I'm in the middle of the River Thames, I can't like high five anyone. I can't touch. I can't touch them. I can't interact with them. I can't really hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Whereas I grew up performing close-up magic, and that's what I really love, because I love interacting with people. So for me, some of my favourite moments have been the close-up moments.
Right.
But definitely the walking across the River Thames is probably my most famous.
Yeah, for sure. Because you said then about not coming across as arrogant by that thing about flying, but like you are probably one of the most humble people we've met. How do you stay humble throughout it all? Because your life must have changed dramatically. You weren't born with a silver spoon. You've earned all that money, and you've earned these book deals and you're worthy of that. How do you stay Stephen throughout it all?
I just got to keep good people around me and be appreciative of what I've got. My grandma always kind of raised me to just be appreciative of everything.
Yeah.
I grew up in Yorkshire, and like there's a saying my grandpa always used to say, you got to work hard for what you get, lad, and you got to look after it. You don't get out for now in this life. So I just believe in hard work, dedicating yourself to something, and staying true to who you are, and just not taking stuff for granted. There's, at the end of the day, we're all human, and we should treat each other with respect and love what we've got and be happy for it.
I think you're definitely doing that. Can you show us any tricks? I think is the golden question.
I could do some. I'll do something. It's actually in the book.
Okay.
So I won't teach it to you guys now, because
Right.
it's one of the harder things to learn from the book. One of the more advanced things, but it is something that's quite cool.
Okay.
And so if you get the book, you will be able to learn this.
Right. Okay. Does it get annoying when people just go, "Can you teach us a trick?" Yeah. Is that like going up to a doctor in the street and going, "All right, doc, hello, look, this man."
You can go Mariah Carey, go, sing for us.
Yeah, do us a song, Mariah. Who's it?
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's enough for me. Cheers for coming in, Dynamo.
So what I'll get you to do is, I just want you to grab like 3 or 4 cards just from one spot. Just grab a handful.
Okay. We'll have
right there.
these
Perfect.
ones, yeah.
What I want you to do is look at them.
Yeah.
Don't let me see them.
Yeah.
I'll turn over here so I can't see them. And
I should show the camera, shouldn't I? There we go. Can you get that on there, Tom?
got them?
Should I show that? There we go. They're the cards. Right. I ain't got to memorise these. Have
No, but what I want you to do
Yeah.
is just think of one of those cards. Don't say what it is. Just think of one of them. Have you got one in mind?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then what I like to do is to name each card out loud, but the card you're thinking of, I want you to lie. So like, let's say if it's a 3 of diamonds, then say 6 of hearts, So
Okay.
like, but only lie on the one you're thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah? And I want to see how good you are at lying.
Right. Okay. So we've got the 9 of hearts, the 5 of spades, the 6 of spades, the ace of spades, and the queen of clubs.
Okay. Just say them again for me.
The 9 of hearts, the 5 of spades, the 6 of spades, the ace of spades, and the queen of clubs.
So you're lying about the ace of spades.
Because you changed it.
No, I didn't.
You did.
Did you change it?
I didn't change it.
You said 9 of spades.
I didn't.
We said 8 of spades.
I said ace of spades. I didn't change it. Carry on.
I fucked it.
How'd you get that? Don't tell me you're going to know what this is.
You're thinking about it, yeah?
Yeah.
Burn it into your mind.
It's burnt there.
8 of hearts.
It's
Fucking
in your
hell.
granddad's pocket as well.
Yeah, at home. Yeah? That's very weird. And I didn't change it, did I?
I don't know, because I was trying to focus on it, focus on it again.
That
but
is weird.
Well, even if you did, it didn't matter.
No, yeah, exactly. Okay. Can I have another one? Do another one. I'm so intrigued. Yeah.
And you picked 5.
See, and the whole time I was trying to think, how's he doing this? I wasn't even thinking of my card. I was just like, how's he doing
I'll
this?
think of this.
Yeah. Okay. This is scary.
Let's try this. We'll try this with you.
Mm.
Have you got a back pocket?
I do.
You do? Okay, great. What I'll do, I'll mix these cards, kind of face up so you can see that they are all different,
Mm.
And they're in a random order, right?
Yeah.
I want you to cut the pack like this. You're going to cut to one random card, yeah? So just cut from the top to the bottom. Let's do that for me now. Perfect. In fact, stand up for me and do that behind your back without dropping them, ideally.
Oof.
Let me know when you've done it.
Yeah. It's done.
Great. Stick either the top or the bottom card into your back pocket.
Cool.
And I'll take the rest of them. Great. Like so, all different. So in your back pocket right now, you've got one card.
Mhm.
You've not seen it, have you?
I
Did you
haven't
see it
seen
at
it.
all? Jack?
No.
And I don't think the camera's caught it either.
Right.
So nobody knows what this card is.
Mm.
Imagine that there's a table right here,
Mhm.
and on this table there's a pack of cards, and I'm reaching over and removing from the table either the red cards or the black cards. If it was your choice, would I be removing the reds or the blacks from the table?
The blacks.
So I pick up the black cards. So I'm
Yeah.
now holding the black cards in my hand, and I separate them into 2 piles. I've got clubs and I've got spades. And I'm putting back onto the table the clubs or the spades. If it's your choice, would it be clubs or spades
It'd be
going?
clubs.
So clubs go back onto the table. So I'm just left holding now the spades, right? Then I separate the spades into high cards and low cards. So I've got the high spades and the low spades. I'm going to throw them into the air, either the highs or the lows, your choice.
Lows.
So I throw the lows into the air, and they magically float right in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the 2, 3, and 4 of spades. Yeah, 2, 3, and 4. I take 2 of those out of the air. Which 2 have I just taken?
4 and the 2.
The 4 and the 2. Out of the 4 and the 2, I'm going to hand you, and I'm going to keep hold of you. But which am I handing you?
The 2.
The 2. So I'll give you the 2.
Thank you.
I'll get rid of the 4 right there. You've ended up holding an imaginary 2 of spades.
Yep.
At the beginning of all of this, we took a shuffled deck, and you stuck one random card into your back pocket after you'd mixed them up behind your back. Take a look.
Oh, that is filthy.
I was really panicking as well. I'm doing this wrong. Jeez Louise.
And you can learn that in the book.
They
can't
can learn that they.
No one can learn that.
You can learn some elements of this stuff, but obviously
Right.
I'm adding my own twist to some of
Yeah.
this stuff. But
You
yeah.
don't give away your top ones, but like, there's good ones in there. So
Yeah.
That is
I
mad.
feel flush.
The thing where
Yeah, I do. I feel nervous when he's doing it to me.
The thing when I knew about your lying,
Mm.
about which card you were lying at, that's in the book.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Shit.
I don't think you can like.
You can't teach that, can you? Is that a really good deck of cards? I always wondered if you had because I bought these before we came.
Oh, you got these? Let's have a look.
Yeah, they're from W.H. Smith. Nothing wrong with W.H. Smith, but
It's alright, you can get my book in W.H. Smith's.
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, nice. But I just wondered, are these proper? Are these good ones?
They're just bicycle cards. They're kind of, they're just good quality card stock, and I get them in bulk, and sometimes I send them in for free, so I'll use them.
Nice.
But yeah, these are your cards. They're a little bit smaller, but I can do magic with any cards really.
Even
fact-
those little portable ones. That
I'll
are
take one out. And one for you.
I have this one.
Remember them. Show them to the camera. Show each other as well. Make sure you know what cards you both got.
Okay.
Good. We'll stick one there. About halfway down, and this one. Yeah, if I stick that in the middle there. I'll give him a shuffle. In fact, I'll give him a Dynamo shuffle, yeah? Let's try it like this.
What?
There we go, the first card. That's one.
Yep.
That's yours, right? 10 of clubs. And now I just got to get Jack's card. So Jack's, I'll do it with one hand. If this was yours, would that be good?
That'd be great.
What if this was actually your card that's on the table and that was your card?
Go home. Go home. What? You are pretty good, Dynamo. I'll give you that. I'll give you That is mad. He's off. He's going to walk through the door.
I realised I had the microphone on that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is good, man. That is well good. I don't know what to say because I feel like you're the best magician in the world going, that's good, man. I was really patronising, like, yeah, you keep that up, boy, you'll get somewhere. But no, it's good. If you don't mind, Dynamo, we're going to finish on some Twitter questions really quick.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Some people have
Is
submitted
this quick
them.
fire?
It can be. Yeah, it can be.
Do I have to answer one word only?
Nah, you can give us some little tales.
Okay, cool.
I quite wanted to do one answer.
Oh, did you?
Well, I don't know. It depends. It might be more difficult for me.
And so this will be a one-word answer one. Jamie Smith says, what kind of music do you listen to? What's your favourite song currently?
I listen to all different genres of music.
Yeah.
I don't really think, oh, I'm not going to listen to rock music, I'm not going to listen to this, because I think, end of the day, my favourite genre of music is good music.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if the music's good, then, you know, I think it's got to, it's got to have emotion in there, which hooks me. But currently, I've probably been listening mostly to a rapper called Machine Gun Kelly.
I've not heard of him.
He's
Camera Guy Tom's a rapper fan, a fan of rap. Have you heard of this guy?
Yeah, I have actually.
What's he like?
Yeah, he's good.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, there's the approval.
Yeah,
Cheers,
come
Tom.
on,
Dan Greengrass says, oh, I've already asked that. It was, how do you stay humble with so much hype? So it's not just me that thinks you're humble. Dan Greengrass. he
Shout out
thinks it
to
as well.
Dan Greengrass.
Nice one, Dan. Sue Powell says, what's on Dynamo's rider?
My rider has recently changed, but it only because
Hummus.
no, I can't eat hummus. My rider used to mainly consist of Jaffa cakes and Percy pigs.
Really?
It did.
Amazing.
Yeah, it did. But recently, I have Crohn's disease, and because of that, my diet changes every now and then, and it's quite a tricky diet to deal with.
Right.
So now I'm not allowed to I've had to cut out dairy from my diet, and gluten and vegetables, and there's so much stuff I can't eat.
What can you eat? Just
I
Percy
can't,
pigs?
So I can't, like, even Percy pigs, I'm not supposed to have too many of them now. And Jaffa cakes, obviously, they're dairy, and they're usually, they usually have gluten in as well, so I can't have them anymore. So my diet's changed, and my rider's gone all rubbish now.
Go on.
So I have lactose-free milk, and decaf Yorkshire tea.
Oh.
That has gone rubbish now.
And, there's a few other cool things in there, but in regards to, my favourite things were the Percy pigs, and they're gone now.
Are they all edibles, or have you got anything sort of like...
Mainly edibles. I like to have a TV in the room, so I can connect a TV with internet, so I can watch YouTube videos and stuff.
Before you go out on stage and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Watching videos and that. It's casual.
I like watch videos, watch music videos, get myself hyped.
Nice. Next one is, what should we go for? There's so many good ones. Okay, this one's good, and I don't know if your diet will affect the answer of this one, but Harry Cullen says, Dynamo, we're going to give you £1. You're going to go in a corner shop. What you buying? Are you going for a Coke? You can't go Percy Pigs because they're not in corner shops.
Football stickers.
You go in football stickers. You go in magazine. I don't know what magazine you get for £1. What are you picking? You got £1. I've actually got £1 on me as well, so if you want it, let me know. But what are you picking?
Ribena.
Oh.
Ribena.
Strawberry?
Yeah, you go in.
No, just blackcurrant, traditional.
Classic.
The
purest.
That's not bad. What are you going for?
I'd probably go Dairy Lunchables, I think you can get them for £1 now.
Yes.
Oh, I used to love Dairy
Very good
Lunchables.
shout. Yeah.
But it's hard. Like, although I could eat the meat and I could eat the cracker bit now, it just wouldn't be the same without cheese.
No.
Did you go ham, cheese, cracker, or did you go ham, cheese, cracker?
That's mental.
Yeah.
What?
You can't stack them that high.
That's not. This guy's walked on water. Do you think a Dairy Lunchables mental?
I used to go cracker, ham, cheese, cracker. So it's like a big sandwich.
That's like a Flintstone.
Yeah.
That's magic.
Flintstone, boom.
That's mad. That is mental. That's the bit I'm most impressed about. Mark Jones says, who's the most famous person in your phone book?
Who's the most famous person in my phone book?
And we know you're a humble lad, so feel free to be as arrogant as you fucking want, mate. Go on.
Probably. Well, I mean, for me as a fan of rap music, you know, MGK is in my phone book.
Okay.
But I guess if you want someone someone who's super famous, then Woody Harrelson,
That's awesome.
Danny DeVito, like
Jesus.
like film legends. Like
Have you ever just like pocket dialed Danny DeVito? And you're like,
Accidentally.
he's like,
Why are you trying to eat some lunch? DeVito, while you're on the phone, can you go ham cheese or cheese ham? That's crazy. I've got literally, my best person is probably Robbie Knox.
Robbie Knox.
Exactly, you've not heard of him. He was on Soccer AM 12 years ago. There we go. And finally...
I think I was on Soccer AM 12 years ago as well.
Was you actually? He was Tramp. He played a character called Tramp, and he'd come out and everyone would be like, Tramp.
Yeah, and he had the main Mac and everything, like the old Mac.
There we go.
Yeah,
Robbie will be absolutely buzzing now.
yeah, he's meeting me after.
Is he? Well, you can say Dynamo knows.
Yeah.
But
Is he going to wear the Mac?
He probably will, to be fair. He's still...
If he does.
Is he still a tramp?
Let me know. yeah. Things have gone terribly for Bob. He's literally a tramp.
Was that his actual name on the show?
Tramp, yeah.
Oh.
So it's not offensive.
So
Christian...
they went from tramps to tubes.
No, Tubes is Tubes.
I know Tubes is.
Yeah. I thought you meant he
I
changed
think
his
there was a
name.
crossover, I think. But
Was there?
I think so.
Yeah, Tubes is smashing it now. He's in FIFA. Do you know that?
Is he?
Yeah. Do
Wow.
you play
Yeah.
the story with Alex Hunter? The
I
story
haven't
mode?
played the story mode, no, but I play FIFA.
Which console?
On PS4.
Christian Gladish says, do you ever retire tricks?
I don't think I ever retire them, but I do. I go through phases where I'm like addicted to performing as like my latest and greatest idea, you know, and that's like, you know, and then there's certain things that I end up not performing as much. But then what I do is I don't retire stuff. I recycle things later. Like I go through.
You
phases.
relegate them.
Yeah.
You promote ones to
Yeah,
Premier League.
but I have to promote things because I have to make sure that my new stuff ends up at the same quality level as my old stuff. So that way I have to put a lot. You know, it's like, you know, 100 performances to make it good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So have you got any idea what the next big trick is? Really trying to pull that out of you, but like, because you've walked on water. What you're going to swim on land? Like what's?
No, that's what Chuck Norris does.
Oh right, yeah, true. He's really shy after that, isn't he? Just going to zoom in on that. And the question I like to finish on, right, Dynamo. Imagine this, right? Come with me. You're 90 years old, right? You're in a retirement home. No, you're not. You got money. You're in a fucking nice house with people around you, looking after you. What do you need to happen between now and then for you to look back on your life and go, yeah, I was successful? Have you already done it? You might have already done it.
I think for me, the any ambitions I've had over the years, I feel like I probably achieved a lot of them, and now I'm just riding this wave, and it's amazing. I'm very lucky. So for me to be successful in the future, I think it's all about, you know, keeping magic alive and keeping, you know, getting new people into it and just keeping the art form going, and not just going, evolving into whatever the future magic may be.
Nice. Have you got any children yourself?
I've no children at the minute. I've got a lovely wife, and we've got a puppy. We've got a dog.
Nice.
What breed?
19 golden
Newfoundland.
retrievers.
No.
No, I brought it back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, I love that callback. She's a very big puppy though. She's a Newfoundland. She weighs like 9 stone already.
Jeez.
She's massive.
When you finally have a kid, if you have a kid, are you going to be like, magic, do magic, keep it alive?
No, I don't think I'd ever want to necessarily push. I want my kid to have its own identity, to find its own thing.
Yeah.
If they happen to want to do magic, then that'd be amazing.
I'm sure they will.
Competition though, isn't it?
I'm sure they. Nah, it's like Brooklyn Beckham. Like he went in all the academies, didn't he? Like Dynamo's.
Yeah, now he's a photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So your kid may be a photographer if you're lucky. Dynamo, before we finish, remember that little envelope there?
Oh yeah. Oh, the prediction.
If you throw your mind back to the start of this podcast, I predicted 3 things that were going to happen in this podcast.
Yeah.
Dynamo, could you please pick it up and read one by one in chronological order? As you can see, it's sealed.
Ooh.
And as you'll be able to see, I've predicted the shit out of this.
Have you?
Yeah.
There's nothing in it. Oh no, I'm joking. So in there, I'm gonna rip it a bit so I can pull it out.
And you might want to unfold it and just read to us as it goes.
So, number 1,
Mm.
Tom will touch Jack's knee.
Did you touch my knee? I'm pretty sure you did because he does it every fucking episode. So that would have happened.
Number 2,
Yeah.
Tom will knock over the water.
Oh, you did. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And number 3, Dynamo will have the best time of his life.
Spooky. How spooky is
I
that?
feel sick again.
Too many passing things. How's that?
How does he do this?
I'm after your job, mate. I'm after your job.
That little magic
I think
sauce.
I think that's a JaackMaate.
That's a JaackMaate trick. I've already had a little peek in your book and I've learned all the secrets. Remember, guys, go and pre-order the book now at all good bookstores. Dynamo, absolute pleasure. Thank you for
very much.
joining me.
Privilege.
And I feel like however you're going to leave now, you need to float up. Or do
really shouldn't dissolve.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Right, you stay.
I've just gone in it.
You stay. No, you got to stay perfectly still.
All right.
Right. Dynamo. See you later.
Ooh.
Oh no, we've disappeared. See you later, guys. Check this guy's book out.
Oh, shit.
Shit, we disappeared, didn't we? Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
You guys need to stay really still.
Yeah. Shit. That'll be nice.
That's fun.
Thank you, man.